the stuff I read in June that I would categorize as either YA or that I'm just vastly generalizing as literary fiction for simplicity's sake. Destroy Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is a 100-page novella that slots in between the first book of the YA Shatter Me series and the second. I tend not to like novellas as they are so often kind of throwaways on the author's part. So you can't really put anything in there that is too integral to the story because most people don't read the novellas, and the books have to make sense without them. This novella, however, seems very integral to the story. Fortunately, a bit of a bookworm warned me that I definitely needed to read this first before I went on to the second book, and I am beyond glad that I did. One of the best novellas I have ever read. This is Warner's story, and it adds complexity and depth to a character who otherwise could have been left more or less as a fairly typical flat YA villain. But with this, it's just elevated the entire story to an entirely different level. It's just 100 pages of brilliance. Read it. Siege and Storm, the second book in the YA Grisha series by Leigh Bardugo. This was not as good as the first book. I think it suffered a bit of middle book-itis. A whole flurry of things happen in the beginning. We meet a new character, there's a lot of swashbuckling, but then nothing seems to happen after that till the end, so I struggled a bit through the middle. The last chapter or two of this, though, it's pretty dang good. Without spoiling Ruin and Rising, tell me in the comments, is it better than the second book? Just yes, no, or about the same works. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Some people might classify this as fantasy or historical fiction. Just because I feel like it, am going to call it literary fiction. This is set in an alternate universe where the 19th century is pretty close to how our 19th century was. A lot of the same historical figures, Lord Byron and the Duke of Wellington, for example. But it's a world where magic exists, or has existed, but by the 19th century, magicians have turned into theoreticians rather than practical purveyors of magic. One day a man named Mr. Norrell changes all that. The best thing about this book is that it is written as if this book was penned in the 19th century instead of 2006. The language, the prose, everything straight out of the 19th century. That was really fun. I just don't know if it was 1,000 pages worth of fun. This book took Susanna Clarke 10 years to write, and I can see why. Heck, she has footnotes explaining small intricacies of alternate universe history that seem longer than some books. I just wish she could have written the same book in the same style, but maybe in a few hundred less pages, and I would have really liked it. 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. This is technically, I think, magical realism. This is the other 1,000-page behemoth I've been reading over the past 8 months. It's hard to summarize this plot. 1Q84 is an alternate universe parallel to the year 1984, and our main characters stumble into it and get mixed up with these mysterious characters called the Little People. I really probably should have started with a different Haruki Murakami book, as this one may be the least agreed upon of his books. Some critics say it's a must-read if you want to understand modern Japanese literature, and others say it's just 1,000 uneventful pages. I have to lean towards the latter opinion. While I did end up feeling fairly affectionate for the character of Tango, the plot just didn't feel like it merited 1,000 pages, and in fact, I felt no closer to understanding the motivations of the Little People at the end than I did in the first 100 pages. So what were the other 900 pages for? I think I'll try Kafka on the Shore or the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle for a better showing of what Haruki Murakami can do. Meet the cat. Hello, kitty. Go terrorize your brother. It was a bit of a slow month for me. I'm hoping to find more things in July that get me really pumped up about reading again. Any suggestions?